No matter what you believe, there's no doubt that a man called Jesus was executed in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago. We have contemporary documents to prove it, not just the Christian scriptures. The question is not, did it happen? But the real question is, why did it happen? Jesus was not a victim of circumstance. Events did not run away with him. He didn't get caught by surprise on the events of that Friday 2,000 years ago. All the accounts make it clear that he chose the confrontation with the authorities. He knew what it would mean. He knew where it would end. And he warned his friends about it in advance. In fact, the centurion in charge of the execution had seen it all before. He'd done many of them. He'd seen men crying out for hours and hours in torment on the cross, begging to be put out of their misery. But not Jesus. Jesus stayed all but quiet. And this one centurion thought that this man was as hard as nails. Surely a son of God. But still, why? Was this just some self-destructive will on the part of Jesus? Perhaps an early example of extreme piercing. Writing hundreds of years before, a man called Isaiah said this: "He was pierced for our transgressions, crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed." Now, it's often been said that today we know the cost of everything, but the value of nothing. We're used to things having a cost. In fact, I was in a tea shop not far from here just a few days ago, and I overheard two people at the next door table saying, well, in fact, they were eating one very big cream cake at the time, and they said, "I'm going to have to pay for this later." And I'm sure they didn't mean the price tag. We're used to things having a cost, but have you ever thought what the cost of your life is? A singer-songwriter called Graham Kendrick, a couple of decades ago, wrote these words: "If you heard that your life had been valued, that a price had been paid on the nail, would you ask what was traded, how much, and who paid it? Who was he, and what was his name? If you heard that his name was called Jesus, would you say that the price was too dear? Held to the cross not by nails but by love. It was you broke his heart, not the spear. Would you say you are worth what it cost him? You say no, but the price, it stays the same. If it don't make you cry, well, laugh it off. Pass by. But remember that day when you throw it away. He paid what he thought you were worth. Last week, several thousand people gathered to watch the bones of a dead king be reburied in the city of Leicester. 2,000 years ago, a different crowd proclaimed Jesus as king, but you won't find his remains under a car park. His grave is empty, and he didn't need a bunch of archaeologists to prize him out of it. He came out of it under his own steam by the power of God. When Jesus hung dying on a cross, much more violent than this one, he didn't just take your place. He took on death face to face. And even though death dragged him down, he broke through on the Easter day and defeated death itself. And he gives that victory to each of us. Amen.